Okay, VO. Oh, he's gonna go D4. We get another, what do you call this? Cry-chick gambit or something weird? G4? D4 and G4? No, he's gonna go E4, E5. Okay. Not quite sure what to play against VO. Knowing he's gonna go for knight takes H7, which he always does. He has a one-track mind when it comes to attacking in Crazy House. Knight G5. I'm gonna go Bishop G4, even though it's a lost opening if you really know what you're doing. Wonder if you'll drop in pawn at F7. Yeah, and as I was saying before, it's good to see my time over 1 minute. He didn't drop the rook on. So, what's the move here? I'm already lost for an idea. Queen at H4. Could try this dirty trick with bishop takes F2. Not sure if it works. Maybe there's some pawn at F3. And I don't think rook at E8 is meant to be so good. I don't even think pawn at F7 is meant to be so good. But we'll see. Okay, well, my moves are forced, so let's just play them and try and get back to 1 minute on the clock. Bishop E6 maybe? I should drop a... Actually, I might even drop a bishop on F7. And then King H8. So, how is he going to defend this? What is my main threat? Would be bishop takes F2. Knight at G4 possibly. Alright, so I'm thinking I can't play knight at E2. I crack in on the light square somehow. And I have to attack. Bishop takes F2. Doesn't really work. I don't want to back off to F6. Any way to attack? I'm not seeing it. I might have to back off to F6. At least I have a threat here. Maybe pawn at F3 to come. I'm not sure if it's a strong enough threat though. Pawn at F3, take pawn at G2. He's covering F3 anyway. So now pawn at F4. Chop chop. He could throw a knight D5, but then looking at knight at E2 check. Take knight D5. Might as well throw in the check. We'll come over here. Oh, why didn't I take the free knight on G5? Well, that's a good question. He doesn't have a knight in hand, so alright, I'll take it now that he doesn't have a knight. That was very silly of me. Just play rook at F8 to defend. Unless there's something more convincing. I just go rook at F8 to defend. I mean, maybe there was some knight takes here. Ouch. He's got another pawn for F7. That's a little bit of a worry. No. Yeah, he's got a trick with a queen at G8. What's this? Knight at E5 I was going to do. You probably should have sacked for the bishop on H6. What? I don't know. Bishop at G3 defending. Yeah, the reason why I dropped a bishop on F7 after the check was because pawns are more dangerous for me, it seems. I could have just saved the tempo with queen takes G5. Forgot the knight was hanging. But it does tend to happen. To me, yeah, so I was saying before, I don't know who came up with this disgusting time control of 1+2. It's not exactly my favorite, so I'm giving away 3 points today. It's your best chance to flag Mugwort 1+2. I was playing some casual games of 1+0, and that went even worse than 1+2. I think even Jusugi said this time control, it's kind of an illusion that you have more time on your clock, but then it evaporates so quickly. He'd rather play 1+0. Yep, let's get paired Zelo, 3 points. Giving away 3 points today. So we have, how many actual players? Any easy way to tell? 13 plus a few, 15. So if you dip under 2100, the advice is not to pause, because if you pause, then you can't get back, apparently, until you play a few more games and get over 2100 again. So you're stuck here. You're stuck here for the whole time, Zelo. Right, Fumitoks, come on, Berserk. I like to see him Berserk and lose the increment. $21.05, yeah, you barely scraped it in. Pawn at G4, wow, that's a creative move. Haven't seen that one before. Anything to get the old Mugwort out of book? Bishop F4, perhaps? Don't know what I'm doing. Every time I play in the tournament, I'm thinking on the stream, that's a good move. Try to be more serious. It's just a little bit hard for me, especially this time of the morning. My head isn't screwed on the right way. Knight 6, B5. How's he going to defend? Queen at A5 doesn't seem to do anything. Queen at C3. I mean, what do you expect when you haven't developed anything? Knight C6. Yep. Should be going D5, I suppose. But then I'll have to take back with the bishop. Other moves, Rook D1. Followed by D5 perhaps. I was thinking about just trading queens and trying to grab C7. And I'm not sure about this knight B5 anymore. If C takes, perhaps it's better to go bishop B5 instead. The other move I'm looking at is pawn at D6. Just to trap this bishop for the moment. And maybe try knight B5. What's the idea of this? Does he want to sack? I think I'll go bishop B5 if he wants to. Hey, what's this? Here, bishop back. Still got the idea of taking a knight at C7. Let's get the rook open. You might want to play knight at H4 or something, no? Take with the bishop. What is this? Not sure the increment's going to favor me here because I don't like my position all that much anymore. It's okay. It's not too bad. Knight at G4? Fumitoks is on 29. Wow, it's an impressive score. So, take this, take this. What's his defense? Let's see. Drop the bishop on first. I have 2 queens. Didn't notice that before. Alright, well then just drop on h5 next and mate with the 2 queens. There we go. So that was his first loss. Incredible. Yeah, he started to defend with the bishops, and then I'm thinking, probably the increment isn't going to favor me because my position started looking worse and worse. I thought I was just going to drop a few pieces on e2 and g3 and f1. Okay, Avariel. Avariel, bit of a funny opening there from Fumi with all the queens bouncing around. Where did it go? e6, e6, b6, d6, d7 or something, and then he sacked it. Not sure if I should be pre-moving this in case of d takes. Do I take the queen first? Probably bishop f7 anyway. So I go for my daily ritual in the morning before the stream. Just run down to the shop for a coffee. They are open pretty early. What's the move here? Knight at g5 first. Sometimes this saves the tempo. I'm just not sure about whether I should be playing moves like pawn at b7 or taking here first. Yeah, throw in pawn at b7. Looks like a fun move. There's also just take a pawn at h6, king g6. If I had another pawn, did I? Yeah, for f5. You try and make the king take on h6 eventually. Whoa! This is giving me an entire rook and a fake queen, and I will be taking it on g5, and then we'll try for bishop h6, sack the bishop here, and then try and breadcrumb the king out to g5 if possible. Hey, the chosen one. What are these emotes? Can't tell who that is. You have to tell me. It's too small on my screen. Should I be taking here and then knight at e6? Looks good. Oh, actually, you can just take that and I don't have anything. So what about moves like e5? Any good? Trade queens. Queen takes c8. Keep the fake queen. Thanks, Vortex. I didn't see Vortex in the tournament. ICS Vortex. Is he in the tournament? Yeah, so now just take here and then something's got to happen with this 8th rank. Pawn at b7. That's a simple move. Anything better than pawn at b7? Check here. King e7. That looks so dodgy. We'll go rook at e4, even grab the bishop here. If he blocks on e6, there's a knight check. Otherwise, I think just take the material. And then... I really shouldn't be thinking pawn at g7. Yeah, the rook is covering all the 4th rank drops. Maybe bishop at f8. King e8. Alright, so now I can do something. What about rook? Rook b8? And then sack the queen on g4? He's going for this. Alright. He's holding on pretty well. Bishop at d7, the main idea, or even queen takes c6. Just gang up on d7. Yeah, I'm kind of making hard work of this when it shouldn't be this hard. Still got king e7, but then thinking, do I take this? I don't know, what am I doing? As long as my king is safe, that's the main thing. When you got the increment, there's nothing really that can go wrong. Yeah, it's about a mate in 30 when it should have been a mate in 5. Fumi, oh, what a speed demon, huh? 31 points. What happened to VO? Is he would normally go up quickly. Is he still playing? Ah, no Golo. Okay, here we go. Come on. You can berserk if you want, but you go first. Okay, knight c6. Go for the Nimzowitsch. Oh, okay, I'll play a non-theory opening, 94. First played against me by Grandmaster Figlud. And here, it's either e6 or e5. Not sure what to go. We'll go for e5. Although it might be safer to play bishop e7 before knight f6. Gotta make sure I keep my time at a respectable level. Bishop e3. What did I say? You go first. Yeah, well, he probably wants to go knight at f5 or something, so d5, maybe d5. Or just bishop at g4, try and provoke f3. I know Zelo always listens to me, so I can throw in some misinformation. I think d5 is generally a good idea though, and knight takes, I just wasn't sure about knight takes d4 before in some lines. Knight at f4, queen f3, I don't like so much. Could throw in a bishop b4 check. Or, yeah, what about just go for it, d5. Just not sure what happens. Take. Queen e7. What do I have in the end? Yeah, I could throw in this check beforehand. I don't think rook e8 is any good there because it weakens f7. So now just, can I take back here? Yeah, I can. There's no great problem that I see. Just minor issues of something happening on my king side. Queen g5 that tends to cover a lot of squares and threaten some cheapos, which he has covered. So what's the deal here? Maybe I should just try and entice him to go back. He's taken with the queen, alright. So how about pawn at e3? Not much calculation going on here. Queen takes g2, maybe possible. Hard to say. This is going to be a tight one. At least I have bishop at f4. Even if there's no mate, not sure. Could try queen at f2. And then, yeah, he's going to run out. So I think just keep checking as long as I can. Maybe even bishop, yeah, so bishop d7's coming. Crazy game, huh? b6 any good? So now's a good time to take back the knight, now that I'm threatening stuff. Although knight at c6 isn't a direct mate. I don't see what he's doing in the meantime. He has to figure out a way to defend. What about b6 and then knight at c5? Yeah, it is a direct mate. I was lying. I was tricking him, but it was a bit too hard to defend, it seems. Funny game with the king run. The weak f7 isn't worth queen for rook. Well, more to the point, he'd have pawn at e6, and then I don't even get a chance to take the queen. So in Crazyhouse, the long distance pin is not worth very much in many cases. Legion. Oh, he's berserked. Sorry. You know the rules here. Alright, he wants to play a familiar opening. So I'll play something different, d5. Make him think. Dirty trick. What do we do here? Bishop. Actually, I gotta be careful. Bishop b4, bishop d6. I don't know. e4? Are you kidding? Can you really do this? e4. I thought he berserked. Oh, your time doesn't go to half. I get it. Your time doesn't go to half. Probably c6 is okay. And what's this? Are you serious? Pawn at g6, knight takes. I'll just take the queen and the. Don't know if I want the bishop. What about rook f8? Even castles is possible. It's legal. May not be good, but at least it's legal. I still have the increment, so I don't have to panic seeing 18 seconds on the clock. Yeah, you just lose the increment, I get it. This took me a while to understand what is going on. Bishop takes, or knight f4 first, perhaps? Really got to be careful about a future knight. Knight. Okay, I just got to move. Take there. Queen at. Now's a good time to play queen at thing 01. I don't know what I'm doing. Was knight e2 any good? I just didn't quite see a mate on knight e2. What? He's not trying to attack me for some reason. I don't understand why. He's only got one knight, so it can't hurt that much. Yeah, the lack of increment is really going to hurt. Let's take that. Where's the mate? Huh. Rook at d3? Oh no, you can't do that. Yeah, increment made all the difference in that game. I mean, I thought I was doing alright on the board, but it's a tricky move. Queen h5 check in the opening. I had to think which way to get away with the king. Yeah, rook f8 or castles or take the bishop. I really wasn't sure. Taking the bishop, very dangerous, allowing knight f7, knight takes either piece, but probably d6 is even more dangerous. Alright, we'll do the finishes opening and see how much Lovelix knows. Isn't quite the finishes opening though. Bishop g4, queen a4 check is, I would say, main line. Knight f5, I don't know anything about. I'm very tempted to just go in for the sack, although I probably should be castling first. And just go rook e1 and d4 and normal stuff. Okay, not d4 now. Sack, 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 sack. Sack or not to sack. He's going to castle, and then the knight on g5 doesn't do a lot, so I will sack. It's my justification. So pawn at e6 check. Not sure if any of my pieces are actually well placed at the moment. I kind of want to play d4 here. But no, d3. d4 just to block out the bishop, but he's taking everything. And then I don't have enough. So a knight for f7 would be good. Yeah, Legion did incredibly well not to get mated after queen at a1 check. Maybe I missed something, but it's too hard to tell. Queen takes, pawn at e4. Going for the material, although I can hardly say that if I'm the one that sacked first. Still a pawn down in the end, aren't I? So is it 1 + 1 and 1 + 2? When you berserk, you lose your increment, but you keep 1 minute on the clock. Something like that, I think. I don't know, we're just doing lots of trades here, but what's actually happening? Nothing much decisive so far. I don't know whether to grab on b7. I could take on h7 perhaps. It's probably a little bit safer to play d4 first to block out this. Alright, let's go in this way and rook at g8 to follow. Possibly. Wow, I wasn't expecting that. I thought that was way too dangerous. Queen d7. Pawn at g6 to follow. Or, hang on, there's got to be something here. Queen f5. And then trade queens. Shooing away the flies. This is a bit sloppy. I've kind of lost the thread in what's going on. Should I take another rook? Can defend first with bishop e4. So I feel relatively safe. Queen is covering h3. Am I safe? Perhaps I should be... yeah. Alright, I'll take back this. A knight's very useful. It's the sloppiest mate I've attempted in a while. We'll get there eventually. Rook c8, yeah, I was chasing the king around in a circle. Surely there's an easy mate after queen d7, queen e7. Pawn at g6 kind of cuts the bishop off from f5 though, that's why I didn't play. Yeah, very efficient. Well, I'm very talented at finding mate in 20. Yeah, queen d7 check, queen e7, surely there's like an instant mate. Just trade queens and then what? Pawn at e6, king f6, trade queens, queen at d7, and then I'm chasing the king around in a circle again. I don't know. I think Katask would say the most important thing is you're defending the square h3, and then you don't have to think so much about defense. You always got the king under pressure, and try and exchange as many pieces as you can, and then you don't have to think so much. Go bishop e7 this time. It's about the journey, so Sleipnir, not the destination. Yeah, the extended journey, the scenic tour via a6. Knight g5, knight d4. Now I heard that Flourish did some study with... Oh, what's this? With Crazy R and Stockfish, where they played this line with bishop e3 and queen e8 included. I haven't seen the study though. Have I already messed up? Queen at g6 is possible here. I'd rather keep the queen on for dirty tricks around the king side. So who is this GMBMW playing Crazy House Theory 2000? 2300 Blitz. Scary. So do I want to take with the king? Probably. Although it's easy to cover the square f7. Not entirely sure about this. Let's try rook at f7. Rook at f8 was possible. Hard to say what the best move is. I just don't see how a knight can drop to attack the rook on f7. Just covering the smothered mate. Bishop at g6 was also possible. Could be some dirty tricks on the f-file, maybe. I kind of like this queen h4 move. It didn't go so well against VO. So queen h4 now is possible. Yeah, throw it in there. Just to avoid getting smother mated again. I lost the pre-move. Queen at h5, okay. Good move, good move. Now I have to think how to guard all my squares. Knight at g6 is possible. Queen at f6 is highly suspicious. So let's try knight at g6, try and cover everything. I'm not sure what my next move is going to be though. Bishop g5, take. Bishop at h6. Right. Okay, just got to watch the time. Yeah. I just got to move. Got nothing. I got nothing here. Bishop takes, pawn takes. Does it make a difference? He's going to win on material. Yeah. Got nothing if I take that, so I'll try something else. King is safe on f3. Completely safe. Oh dear. Just got to take that and... yeah, I'm totally dead here. Hope that he doesn't see the easy mate. I don't think that's it. Rook at f8. I would like that queen if he'd like to give it to me. But I have to say this wins the prize for the sloppiest game today from both players. Let's get rid of that knight. It's a good defender. And knight at b1 perhaps? What is going on? I can take a pawn now. Knight c5, pawn at... Oh, now I can throw in b5 and queen at a4. Queen e2 or knight e4 should do the trick. Alright, we're finally getting there. Yeah, ridiculous game. So when you have two queens in hand, I'm not sure if BMW is listening, just drop the queen on h7 and you just go check, 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 check and mate. Because g6 was wide open. So two heavies in hand is enough to mate when I don't have that many defenders around the king. But yeah, the diagonal pieces, pawns and bishops, with the king on f3 were completely useless. It's only when you gave me the queen that I really had any mating ideas. d4, okay, well, I think we've had a few. Yeah, it was a very well played game though from BMW, managing the material and the king's safety with the king running out to f3. I don't think the bishop belongs on b4 here. I'll go knight c6 and try a different system. d5. Bishop d7. Knight f4, queen e7. He's going to attack the bishop, I guess. No, he's going for c7 instead, so bishop back, c takes. See, very often white's already played f3 by now, so it's a little bit unusual. A bit stuck for a good idea. Just bring the rook over if I'm not sure what to do. I don't think trading here is a good idea because then that weakens c7. Yeah, maybe a6 if I don't know what to do. Well, he's forcing me to trade. It's not what I wanted though. Knight to e4 or knight at e4? Yeah, I got to abandon the pawn on c7 and get some counterattack going on the king side. So he can take on c7 if he wants, that's okay. We'll deal with that. Knight at h4. So if he's very greedy, I guess he'll go something like bishop at d6. Otherwise, try and trade off some diagonal pieces, pawn and bishop for g4. But objectively, this is not so great. Maybe even drop the bishop back. Pawn at d6. Sidestep with the queen. Knight takes. I would rather grab the bishop on d3 first and try and make something happen on the light squares here. Because the knight, I mean, what's it going to do? Sack on g7? That's not hurting the king. Okay, well, maybe it is. Queen takes. We'll see, we'll see. Just can hardly believe that he's getting away with this. Oh, hang on, is it a mate? It's a mate in 4, isn't it? Yeah, knight takes f2. Yeah, there we go. So, sneaky trick with the queen on the g file. He had to block the g file, but then I can perhaps get in on the light squares somehow. Or there were two knights attacking f2, that was also a way in. Hey there, Goose Frubber. So how much to go? I haven't checked the time. Still an hour to go. So that's the advantage of 1+2. You get to play a lot of games. They may not be such quality games, but it's a trade-off. Should we take this? I don't know. Don't know what I'm doing in the Sicilian. Yeah, I don't think I've played a match, longer than one game in an arena against Fumi. So that's why the few games. Looking for a useful move. I don't want to go into one of these long thinks that I commonly do. I'm just not sure what to do. Bishop e3. I mean, e5 and trading the queens is... it may work. It's hard to say. Because I'm looking at pawn at c7 and knight b5 ideas. So take again, probably. Take on d6, just lets the bishop out. Anything better? No, I don't see anything better, so I just do the obvious moves. Pawn at c5. There is a check possible. If he wants to trade lots of pieces, I don't mind. c3 or pawn at c3? Go pawn at c3. And then we'll see if he really wants to take on c5 or not. No, he's backing off. b4 is interesting. It may not be really all that useful though. Bishop f4. Yeah, how am I getting in? Knight takes g7, pawn at d6. I don't know. Come on, do something. Bishop at c5, knight at d6 possibly. King d7, no. I guess I just have to come back. 4 seconds. I think I'm going down here. Yeah, I don't know what to do. I need a knight in hand, I don't have one. It's not coming. King f1, only chance. So I really need him to give me a knight. Because the e takes f2 was a deadly threat. Yikes! Seriously running out of pieces. What does he have? Okay, bishop at c4. Yeah, again running out of ideas. I think I have to sack. And then he's got knight at e3, and I have no checks, so yeah, too much material. So e5 is probably a good idea in the opening. Not sure, maybe the knight sack on g7 just didn't quite work. So queen f6, the bishop on f4 was hanging in. I didn't want to go for the rook on a8 when the bishop on f4 was hanging, but then I was looking for a way to drop something. Or was that just a simple knight at h5 move instead of knight at d6 check? Yeah, possibly knight at h5 if the queen was on f6. c3, what's this? Never seen this before. Mastertan. Alright, we have a very original opening. Was he intending knight c3 perhaps? Bishop c4. Yeah, very original. It's the two knights defense without knight f3. I'll go an early d5. Guess nothing better just to come back. And then I got to be careful about these sacks. So bishop e7 looks safest. He still might want to sack. It's probably okay. So I've got a pawn in hand. What do I do with the pawn in hand? It's typical that white doesn't get a pawn here. What to do? h6 or start chasing the bishop? Knight a5. Very strange position. Normally the pawn is on d6. Ah, okay, that was a blunder. But that's alright, we'll try and make something work. Knight takes e4. Queen e7, unless something better turns up. So go for g2 or c2. He does have knight at e3. And then I have no idea what I'm doing. Drop the pawn on c2, bishop at d3. That's about the only thing I can think of. Take, take, take. I could throw in queen at c1 there, blocker. Take back on e4. At least he doesn't have two knights on h6 and f6 at the moment. You might sack the queen this way. He doesn't want to allow pawn at c2, of course. Knight d2. Interesting. I'm very confused. What's he doing to me? I have no idea what's going on. Yeah, well, let's try this. I wish I had a clue. Take, take, rook at g1. Could possibly just grab the bishop. Yeah. Go rook takes. What is this? Looks like utterly ridiculous moves, doesn't it? Yep. Let's try pawn it for safety. Pawn at h6. Just got to shut up and move. Rook takes. Rook h1. Okay, no heavies, no heavies. Try this. Actually, no knights either. Trying to avoid every trade on the board if possible. Okay, now what's happening? Pawn at e2 possibly? Let's cover this one first. Uh-oh, knight at d5. Yeah, now pawn at e2. Surely I gotta have something. Come on. Alright, gotta go all in for the attack. I don't think this is working. Is it working? Which way to do it to the checks? Bishop at d3. No, this isn't working. Rook at a1, queen at d1. I don't know what I'm doing. Alright, I know there's knight at e2, but I just... there's rook at d1, that's the move I missed before, yeah. Alright, so I had it all along. Just a bit too many heavy pieces and not enough minor piece blockers for mastertan. Okay, I'm starting to like this time control a little more, and the main reason is because at least you get a chance when you got 5 seconds left to continue the game, but if it's 1-0 then I'm just going to flag every single time. Okay, let's see if Fumi's got something creative or outrageous here. What's he gonna do? I was thinking bring the bishop back to e7 or find a way to castle queenside. Normally he doesn't go for mainline openings. Knight d4. Alright. I normally just take that and go bishop g5. But it certainly is a little bit unusual. c6. Gonna go king h1. I'm not sure. Certainly not a book move. King h1. Take. Probably put the bishop back on h3 to cover the king a little bit more. So I feel quite safe in this position. But how to proceed? Maybe knight at g4. Do I grab the queen? Knight at f2 is nothing. Knight takes f2 is nothing to worry about. So I think I can go ahead and grab the queen. What's this? What's this knight at h5 stuff? Yeah, I don't know. Don't see anything better. Knight on c3 doesn't have much of a purpose. Could sack a piece on e6, perhaps. He does want to give me the rook if I want it. It's nothing really that fantastic. I'd rather take on e6 and then replace the bishop on f5. Alright, he's not letting me replace the bishop, so throwing queen g4. Make use of the queen. Bishop here, or perhaps it's better to drop the bishop back a distance. We'll just see where he goes with the king. So king e7, there's a knight at d5, so clearing this square d5 is quite helpful. So now I think knight c7 with the idea king e7, and then the knight comes back to d5. Otherwise I am taking the rook and threatening here, so pawn it, or pawn at e6 is better. Pawn c7. I think I'm going the wrong way. What am I doing? Bishop takes. Bishop in hand is not really the piece that I want. Maybe for g5. Or d8 is better, I'm not sure. Take d8, take. Rook in hand, rook at c8, king e7. I think I'm just a piece short. What's this? I think he's just missed this move. Yeah, I mean, Mugwort doesn't flag in every position. If it's 1-0, I'd still only give myself a 50-50 chance to win that one with 6 seconds. Although, it's pretty hard to lose. There's a funny comment yesterday from the Wolf that crazy game with Damate. It was actually very hard to lose, I have to say. As hard as it seems. Okay, VO. What happened last time? There was some e4, e5 rubbish. Oh, okay. He's early queen h5. Doing the Fumi opening. Bishop takes, knight takes, queen takes. Oh no, pawn takes. Alright, I'm more used to queen takes, so probably just go knight d4. And then he's got to make a decision where to move the queen. And check isn't all that great. Where else? Where's he going to avoid the bishop drops? So bishop f5, I could start here, but pawn e4, is there any use? Bishop at b5, same thing with c4, so queen g5 is often interesting. I'm going to throw in queen g5 and we'll see what happens. Could even think about going bishop f5, sacking on e4. Yeah, but if I stick a new bishop on f5, he's got queen takes e5. Check. So that means I just play calmly with bishop g7. Castle. So what I'm waiting for is him to drop the pawn somewhere. Even bishop at f4 is an idea. And he probably has to answer. Alright, let me just think for a second. I think castling is what I want to do anyway, so... h4, wasn't expecting this. Queen h5, perhaps? Not sure. So here's c2 very well covered. What else is happening? I don't know. What else is happening? Bishop at f5. Now's a good time. Okay, that's what I was waiting for him to drop the pawn. But again, yeah, he does have c2 well covered. So perhaps it's now time to throw in a crazy move. No. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. I'll just hope something appears. Bishop f5, no good. Knight at f4, probably no good. Knight at d4. Okay, just got to move. Yeah, this is a bit painful. Yep. Yeah, he's got me. Don't know what I did wrong. I thought I should have brought the pieces to the king side, and then it was c7 that collapsed and gave him another pawn. Don't really know what I did wrong. Yeah, I guess queen h4 is always vulnerable to queen g5 is always vulnerable to h4. And if he gets a couple of pawns, it's dangerous. Okay, we're gonna see some more theory here with knight g5. So bishop c5, of course, is very different. It's more aggressive, so we'll go for bishop g4. So this happened earlier against VO. At least playing this way allows a bit of time on the clock for later thinking. So knight d4, no real threats. I have to get rid of that bishop on g4 to make anything happen. I think it is quite useful to put a little bit of pressure on f2 as well as g4. Hey, Jians. So, I mean, it looks like I've got no pieces around my king, which is kind of true. And I'm inviting him to drop lots of checks, because at the moment it's a bit hard for white to find anything decisive. Rook at h3. Ah, yeah, there is a trick. So, if that trick works, then I'm probably in a lot of trouble. Any way to cover the square f6 somehow cleverly? I don't see. Do I have to sack a queen? Knight at e2. I can't really see that this is working, but we'll give it a go. Yeah, I think he's leaving me with no choice. I just got to go for this, even if I get mated. This is just terrible. I'm losing the queen with check. Oh yeah, it's just hopelessly lost now. Yeah, alright. Rook at h3 is just probably a refutation. Eh? That wasn't check. Surely that was just knight at g5 takes queen at d7, queen f7? What am I missing? He did all the right moves except didn't make a check. Yeah, knight at g5 is just mating. So I think rook at h3 is just winning for white. Queen takes a knight at f6. Unless there's something really, yeah, all right, I'll leave that. I'll leave that till another game. Something really dirty trick. But yeah, just a check is all that was needed there. And after rook at h3, I think backing off the queen is there's no use playing on after that. Pawn at e7 and knight at f6 coming. Okay, we finally got a white against VO. Still over half an hour left. Haven't checked the standings. What do we have? Top 4. Alright. So, what does VO like to do? Bishop e7. Now, probably pawn at f6 here. If takes, just go knight takes f6 and then think about whether to drop the pawn on g7 or just come back with knight h5. Not entirely sure. Probably come back with knight h5. Oh, maybe I should have taken the bishop. I wasn't paying attention. But we'll just go in for the hack with bishop at e5 to follow. Knight at h5, perhaps not the move here, because then the queen can come back to d8, bishop at f6, queen somewhere, and then it's probably not as effective as bishop at e5 followed by knight at f6 check. Tell me when it's my move. Yeah, why do I repeat openings? Why does VO repeat openings? Losing openings, because he can't find anything else, I guess. I don't know, it's tough. It is tough with the black pieces to find something playable. So, what to do here? I need to kill the knight on c6, so queen e4 or queen f3, the most obvious moves. Bishop at d5, I could sneak in this way, queen takes h7, now that he has troubles castling. Perhaps he should be putting something on e7 instead. I can't believe I run my time down to so little. But I really don't see anything here. Don't know what to do. All these queens and nothing happening. Queen at h8 was perhaps a lot better. Knight at d4, yeah. Alright, we'll come in this way. Take that. Oh, there's rook at d8. I didn't even see that at first. Yeah, perhaps there was one chance for him to hang on. Maybe knight at d4 wasn't the best, but tough to say. But probably queen at h8, and then if he defends the rook somehow with a knight, then take it and rook at f8 check. Skewer the other rook on the back rank. So Legion's pause. Fumi still going. Have we caught up to VO yet? No, because I'm losing my streak every time. I see I am Pawn Wonder in the arena chat from Namibia. We do have some Nigerian players here. OFBC, and I think Lovelix is also Nigerian. Correct me if I'm wrong. Zila's playing. Yeah, how's he going? I had one game against him earlier. Alright, Tournon. I haven't seen him play this French against me before. He normally goes one knight f6. So knight c6. We just chuck a pawn on here and then wait for him to take it, pin the knight, bishop b5. So main idea is knight at f6 coming soon, which he has to defend. Bishop e7, and then I don't know, there are some options. I could take first and then knight e5, or I could. I just don't want to think. Yeah, I shouldn't be analyzing in 1+2. I think the Wolf has played this against me before somehow, and just don't quite know if a sack is worthwhile. Take, king takes, knight at h6 or knight at e5 check. Knight at h6 is also playable, perhaps, now that the rook doesn't really have any good options. So I'd like a pawn for g7 if rook h8. Knight g7 I don't think is the move, because then it's hard to see a follow-up. You can try and take on g2 if he wants. Rook g6. Alright. Now instead of taking the rook, I think it's much better to go for f7. And then I can think which piece I want to take next. Knight at d6. Let's go for the knight instead of the queen. The queen's kind of boxed in there anyway. So pawn at f7 was the main idea, and I am winning back the queen. Knight at f7 check. Knight takes queen. Can probably pre-move unless there's something better. Could try bishop takes g5 first, and then pawn at f6. Try and do everything with check. And then is f7 a finish? I think so. No escape. Alright, Zelo played mastertan 5 times. Yeah, I had a very long game against mastertan. It was exciting. I think he should have done a lot better with the minor pieces when he sacked the queen, and then he had all these knights and bishops defending. I thought I wasn't doing very well. I had one attacking piece with the rook on h1, and then it came back, and then he was trying to counterattack, and that didn't go anywhere. Tough game. Okay, Zelo again. So welcome guys if you just joined and you came here to see Zelo playing in his first Elite Crazy House. Let's see how he goes. So moves e6, e5, the old e-calf pawn sacrifice. Yes, mute me. No, you don't have to mute me. I'll just feed you with disinformation if you don't mute me. I'll just say, yeah, I blundered there. Black is completely winning. Morning, Pawn Wonder. Bishop takes, so this is kind of similar to the previous game, except he's allowing a lot of tempi, knight e5, and I get a choice. How do we do this? To take on d7 first, pile up here, put the knight back on e5. It already looks good. Other options, take here and knight at h5. I don't know. I shouldn't think too much. Probably knight at h5, and then even the sack on f7 looks good. It's often a problem when I have too many options. I just don't know what to do when I have too many options. Taking on d7, yeah, was maybe even better. Alright, so do we go pawn at g5 and then try and grab g7? Ah, he's gone this way, okay. Knight at f5. Take. Knight at f6. Take. Don't see where that's going. Perhaps bishop at e4 instead. Ah, that was no good. Actually, this is quite terrible now. Oops. Alright, I really got to think how to get out of this one. Probably have to sack the knight there. And then take this, and then take back the knight. So I don't see that I'm getting mated. I may be wrong. Yeah, it's a good start. Let's try pawn at d6. I really got to focus here not to get wiped out in this game. Oh no. Yep. Could probably sack the rook. Ten seconds, Elo, 10 seconds. What's this? He's trying to flag me. Ah, got him in the end. Bad luck. I thought rook takes d3, c takes d3, knight at d4 check, c takes d4, knight at c3 check was the way in. I didn't calculate a mate, but it was quite scary. But possibly queen at e2 check, king takes c3. I'm running away. Maybe missing something. If you kept the bishop off h5, you would have had another bishop to drop on b4, perhaps. Hard to say. Probably the computer will say like mate in 7 or mate in 8. Because it was a shaky defense. And I probably should not have allowed the bishop to take on c6. So knight takes d7, I guess, was the move. Either that or sack the knight on f7 instead. Yeah, bad choice of trades for me in the opening. So black was doing quite well after he went, what was it? Bishop takes e5, and then there was some knight takes c3, which I allowed. So I'm not getting a pairing. What's happening? Up to 35 players total. I guess there's a few who haven't started. 1, 2, 3. Plus 9, 12. Does that mean 23 players in total? We got a few paused. I see I'm up to second place. I don't know how that happened. So I lost to Vio twice and Fumi once. And I seem to have gained a few points today, which I was actually expecting to dip under 2,500 because, yeah, 1+2 streaming is not what I want to be doing at 6 AM. Let's go for the Katask system, also featured in many of the Oppa Jusugi games in the final, CWC final. But h3 very unusual as a precaution to stop bishop g4. It's not really my intention anyway. This is interesting. What does he want to go? Knight at f5 early. So any use going f5? Looks okay. And threaten queen takes h4. Queen h5 is possible. I was thinking maybe knight d4. Bishop e7. What else? There's a funny queen sack here. Knight at f3. It's probably just too much fantasy. Yeah, I don't mind. Rook g8 or even castling here is okay. Yeah, castling here is usually what black wants to do. He invited a sack back on g7. I thought he might try rook g1, in which case I don't necessarily want to take on h4. So, but what else? g6 is a funny move. I don't actually mind playing g6 because he has no pieces in hand. It's not that easy to grab the knight, even bishop b5, you can hide on e5. So g5 is another funny move. Or I just take this one and go knight at f3 check. Do I want to give him a knight just yet? Maybe not. Would rather take on h4 first before I give him a knight. Alright, but I'm talking too much as usual. So queen h6 looks fairly safe. And then the main idea is knight at f3, or I could even build up with knight d4. But do I want to give him the two knights? I think it's okay at the moment. Now there's no pawns. It's only a check. It's only a check here. King is safe on h8. Alright, so now what do we do? Rook e8 to start with. Make him waste a blocker. Queen at c1 is possible. Let's throw in queen at c1. Knight blocks. Okay, look for something. But I'm not quite seeing it. So bishop at a5. I'm still not quite seeing the move. Maybe pawn at d2 next. Yeah, this doesn't quite work. Pawn at d2 next. Ah, okay. Yikes. He's really pushing hard for a flag. Ah, what am I doing? No. Ah. Just random moves. This is very silly. Very silly play. Should have lost this one somehow. I think there was some moment for him to chuck in bishop takes g7 check, and then I was in. Why was that not a pre-move? Didn't I pre-move rook at f1? Yeah, there was one moment I just completely lost track of what's going on. There was some bishop takes h6, and I couldn't tell if I had a mate. I pre-moved e takes d1 check, whereas queen takes d1 was a mate in 2, and knight at c2. I didn't actually have a chance to play it on the board though, because he did knight takes e2, f takes, and then he did some good defensive move to cover everything after that, and I was struggling to find a mate with 4 seconds. But I think I didn't deserve to win that one in the end. He had some chances. So that's Weir from Czech Republic, I think. We might have even met 20 years ago. 2002, when I was in the Czech Republic. What do you say? Ahoy, jak se máš? So, a week ago I played in the Elite Arena for the first time in a long time, because I was in holiday mode December, January, and slowly getting back to used to arising at 6 AM or sometimes before. Can't remember what we did. He did some c3 funny move. I'm gonna go bishop c5. And then d6. So we get some funny knight d7 system. Well, so it's a Scotch without knight c6. Again, I have no idea what's going on after 5 moves. I haven't really seen this position before. Not that I remember. Bishop g5. Yeah, what to do here? Take. I might even throw an h6 and then we'll see if he goes knight d5. There's some options to check here. Perhaps even bishop takes, sack the queen for 2 pieces. Or come back. He has a pawn in hand. For some reason I calculated he didn't have a pawn in hand, which is not very favorable for me if he has pawn at e7, because I don't want to sack my queen on e7. I would rather do it this way if possible. Yeah, but this move is quite disturbing. Because I don't really have a good move in response. Yeah, something... Yeah, I don't know, bishop g5, something dodgy. What's this? Knight at e5? If I can castle safely, then I'd be happy. I've just been doing too much thinking in this game, which is not recommended. In 1+2. Do I have to take this? Probably. Queen at g7 looks nasty. Yeah, I don't really have any counter play at the moment, counter moves. Queen takes h6. Knight at g4, possibly. Take back with the... Don't have any idea what I'm doing. Knight at f3. Maybe knight takes c4, maybe knight takes h2. This is not looking good. Yeah. Yeah, I don't have enough attack with the king sitting on e2, unfortunately. Come back. Yep. I still don't have any mate threats. I need a knight for g2. Yeah, I think I'm going down here. Oh. Queen takes, is it mating? Yeah. Alright, GG. I think queen sack looked okay in the opening, especially after I got in the move pawn at d2. So I wasn't quite sure whether to attack and defend. Even after knight at e5, we're still looking okay-ish. And somehow I allowed knight takes f6. Was that after pawn at f6? So that was the key moment. I wasn't sure how to defend my g7, h7 squares after pawn at f6. And perhaps it was already too late. And instead of knight at e5, that means, I don't know, castle? There could have been some piece landing on g6 after castle, so using the bishop on c4 on the diagonal. So yeah, perhaps white was just winning all along. But after bishop g5, I was a bit afraid to castle because there's many ways to hack in knight d5 and pawn at h6. Alright, so mastertan sneaking up to third. He's on a bit of a streak. Finisher not playing. He plays team battle. So what is he playing? That's not real chess, is it? This is real chess. Crazyhouse is real chess. Not that funny game where you don't get your pieces back when you sack them. Got a lot of people paused. And the wolf has made the top page. So only 13 minutes left, and yeah, not sure if there's many people left who've lasted the distance apart from Fumi. I think I only joined with what, an hour 40 minutes or so to go. Another white against Fumi. It seems to happen where you always get the same color against the same opponent. Okay, perhaps we won't take on c6 so early to let him support the center. And take here followed by e5. It's a chess opening, isn't it? Where you take here and then go f4 and some funny king maneuvers out to f3 in some lines. Oh, it was after c4. Alright, what is this? He's giving me a piece, I will take it. Oh snap! Oh no, it's okay. The knight was defended. It's alright. He didn't miss a one mover. What now? Now Mugwort thinks and then flags, as usual. Don't know. Just go bishop e2 and think later. Castle. Ah, Italian pizza time, says Juicebolt. Castle. Maybe he wants to play some funny rook lift. But where is his main weakness here? It's a bit hard to say. I mean, sometimes on the d file. I think I did bishop e3 last time. At least there's a pawn that I spy on a7. I think that's more important than the b2 pawn. Well, I don't really have much of a plan except develop, centralize the pieces. I don't know what's going on. Rook e1, bishop f3, stuff like this. Maybe I want to look at knight takes d5. So if I'm going to do it, now is as good a time as any to throw in knight takes d5. Right, so the idea is bishop takes c8 and knight at f5. Getting some moves in with tempo. Knight takes g7 or any sneaky move, mugwort move. I could throw in a bishop at g4 perhaps. Notice this bishop for the moment is pinned. So now it's probably a good time to take on g7, crash through on e6. Which way first? Could even... no, we'll take here first. And pawn at b7. Do I have a clue what's going on? Absolutely not. Maybe rook takes e5 if queen b7. Even without queen b7, I still like the look of rook e5 and rook e6 or bishop e6. Throw in bishop at h6, why not? Knight at f7 next, and bishop takes. Yeah, might as well drop in the queen and then have some bishop check. What does that do? Not I had queen takes c6 last move. I think it's gonna be mate soon, surely. Anything really obvious, or do I just take here and put the pawns on? Okay. So that's much better. Sicilian. Yeah, I think white's always pretty comfortable when black drops the pawns back on the 6th and 7th ranks. Don't allow him so much play as in the previous game, if you have been watching the whole time. So 8 minutes to go. In 3-0 you probably only fit in 2 more games, but maybe 3 or 4 depending on who is still here. Mastertan still here? Who's he playing? We should watch a game. Mastertan versus Tonon. So queen on g4, always safe. It's a good response though. Bishop e6. Sacking the bishop. Knight takes, knight... actually, it's not a sack, is it? Is he gonna just ignore that and go pawn at h6 and then drop pawns for pieces? Perhaps bring the knight out of the way. Knight e6, also good. Threatening a mate in 2. Queen check covers, but bishop check in response. Still no mate yet with the queen covering on g7. So Mastertan got to be careful. Watch out for f2. Yeah, defending, dropping a pawn, perhaps this move, rook takes, oh no. So the pawn is pinned. Tonon's done very well here. Now threatening a mate on e2. If he can keep the material, he's got plenty of time on the clock. So black has a decisive material advantage, and this king is quite safe. Mastertan's missed a few tricks. So anybody still here? 7 minutes to go. Lone Wolf says if he keeps facing in 1+2, he's going to lose his nice score with Fumi. I don't know. What is the score? How do I check that easily? I'll have to wait till they're playing each other. I'm sure there's another way to look it up with the advanced player search. So let's see if Mastertan has managed to hold on. Ah, we have a game. No Golo again. Let's try something different. Knight c6 and knight f6. d5, take. So I did d4 against him, which actually turned out really terribly. Not that d4 is a bad move, of course. Queen e2 check, I have not seen before. I could go ultra passive and drop a pawn on e6, or I don't know, bishop e7. Not even sure whether bishop e7 is very good. Should really find a way to cover up some of these dark squares or block off the e-file. I just didn't really like him sacking a knight for 2 pawns. It's probably okay. Now, watch out for the dirty tricks. So now I'll put a pawn on e4 and then just let him take on g7. So take. Perhaps knight at f6 looks like a good defense. So he's covering up d4 instead. Alright, what do we do here? Just keep piling up on g4. I'll make sure f6 is well defended. Possibly knight b3. Knight b4, I mean. Knight doesn't have much purpose on c6 otherwise at the moment. What's this? He's defending c2. Sacking the queen is... yeah, it's a good idea. Take twice, perhaps. I can't see any dirty tricks with the smother mate on f6 at the moment. So take on c2 check. Just drop a. It's the best way to do this. Drop a knight on. Kind of invites a queen sag, but we'll see if he can make me. Ah, he's going to allow this, really? Maybe I should be taking here first and then dropping the bishop. Not really sure. At least I can pick up the knight on e4 in that case. Or the queen. Probably taking the queen is much better. Yeah, and then there's no sacks on f7 to worry about. I have this check covered. All the checks covered. Yeah. Could I have just moved the king after knight takes e3? Possibly. Says entire sleeve. I can't answer that with any certainty right at this second. Any knight checks? There's rook takes g7 to cover up a bit more. That's if I really need to defend. Which I probably don't. Pawn at f5. Come on, come on, come closer. I'll have knight at e3 if he comes any closer. Alright, good luck getting out of this one. Queen at f5. Knight. Yeah, 1-2 is brutal, but for whom? It's brutal if you try to flag Mugwort thinking you can just move your king around the board and do anything and still win. As Eli says, he had Zen mode on and didn't realize he was playing me. Yeah, in 1-0, I tell you, it's a very, very, very different story. 1-0 is extremely hard for me, especially streaming, because I do not tend to focus 100% on the game. It's kind of fun to read the chat when you got 5 seconds left and then think about a previous line. Oh, what happens on knight takes e3? I don't know. I think I was doing well at that stage anyway. It's more the tricks with the queen sack on f7 to watch out for, and also the possible smothered mates if you don't cover the e-file. You allow him to move the bishop from e3 with tempo, but I didn't see that it was possible. So white was the one in the end who had to worry about all the light squares, g2, e2. So do we get one more game? 5 seconds to go. I think the pairings are going to shut off in about 5 seconds. Nah, G-Spot, I really don't tend to see moves in 1 second. I don't tend to see good moves in 1 second very often. I mean, I can find checks in 1 second, but they often tend to be mates in 20 if you watch the whole stream. Knight takes a3, king e2, knight at f4, fork the queen. Yeah, there's many tricks with lots of pieces in hand. I didn't want to go for the promotion with pawn at g2 because then I got to calculate the queen sack. Another game. Okay, maybe 1-2. It's yeah, it's a little bit. You know what I mean. The arena shuts off at 1 minute rather than 1:30. All right, what are we gonna do here? I'll just play a waiting move, h3, something different. Castle followed by e5. He's gonna go here, eh? Take, swap the knights. I'm just gonna go for a safe line with pawn at f3. I know Juiceboard hates this with the black pieces. It's a John Lee line, isn't it? Pawn at f5. So he lets me trade the bishop. Yeah. Probably take this and then put a old bishop or new bishop on. Probably a new bishop on, because then I have extra coverage over f4. I think I can take this and then you'll probably go h6 and then at least I have h2 to hide. So let's see what happens on Yeah, bishop takes knight I don't like so much. Knight d5 I also don't like very much. Let's just sack the bishop this way and hope for the best. Knight h4 check. There's king h2, bishop at take. He really needs another knight for f3. So perhaps rook g1 and pawn ad and take here. Maybe this is not the best. Yeah, he's got moves like bishop at f2 if he wants. But then I can take something. I'm just trying to decide which piece to take. Bishop at f2, take here, pawn at g3. King h1, take. He has a rook at h2 in the end, and I'll be struggling to find any attack after that. So, ideas of playing knight at d5 if I can get away with it. Alright, let's try this. Knight at f3 to watch out for. Bishop at g4. Okay, so here I'm going to go all in with knight at d5, allowing knight f3 check. Allowing knight f3 check, I think king h1 is still safe, unless I'm missing something really obvious. Let's see if we can pull off a mate. Yeah, I think this is just made in 2, isn't it? Queen at g5? No? Oh, it's made in something. Knight f6. Alright, now it's a made in 2. Okay, GG's everyone. That didn't count, I guess, too long. So final standings. Let's try to display it on the screen. That view isn't any better. Yeah, it's a bit hard for me to display. Because you're not seeing much of the screen down the bottom. So top 10, Tornon, Lovelix, Bughouse Knight, paused early, Lone Wolf, joined, what, halfway through or something. OFBC Nigeria, VariantsOnly, LegionDestroyer, I think that those guys paused with a bit of time left. Mugwort, mastertan, Fumi, so that game didn't count, Mugwort, mastertan, but quite exciting games against mastertan today. GG's everybody, that's another Elite Arena. I think a finisher might know better, but it's been almost 137 consecutive weeks. We might have missed 1 or 2 weeks when the finisher was on holidays. But let's have a look. If you're ever wondering, or you're new to Crazy House, you're wondering how to find these tournaments, one way is you could either search Crazy House and you get all kinds of information, including players rated 1200 posting their favorite games. But if you search for Crazy House Elite, that's how to find this tournament. You just go to the top link and you'll see a whole bunch of tournaments displayed. So this was Elite Arena 137, and each week it seems to alternate between Saturday and Sunday Sydney time, which is Friday night and Saturday night European time. So the next one, the time control also oscillates between 1, 2 and 3, 0. I didn't do too bad in 1+2 today, but probably prefer 3+0 overall. So the next tournament, where's the date? Here it is. Anyone know what date is the 6th of March? So it's not a leap year, so that means 6 days time is a Saturday morning Sydney time, 6 AM. And I think with the daylight saving coming in a month or so, it gets even worse for the Sydney players. As someone, was it Duvid, making a joke about the Aussie players not getting their act together for the Crazy House Olympiad. But I saw the one the Nigerian players set up was at 3 a.m. Sydney time, and you're probably not going to get a lot of Aussie players playing at 3 a.m. Maybe Zelo wants to join at 3 a.m. That's more his time. But I think I've only ever done 1 or 2 streams at that time, and usually you can tell because I'm trying to force myself to stay awake, and I have to just keep bouncing around. Like, you ever watch Mark Esserman streaming recently? I don't know what he's doing, but he's bouncing around like this. Yeah, funny stuff. So what do we do? Sunday morning, 8 a.m. Grab another coffee, and I'll be back if anyone wants a challenge, or I'll be lurking around. I don't mind just watching as well if there's any top level action, 2500 plus. I might stop for the moment. Go out and get a burgerless burger. I'm going to go out now and get a burgerless burger. That's what I do on weekends at this time of the morning. So a bunless burger, that's what I mean. Just have the meat patty and then some lettuce and tomato and onions. And a burgerless burger, I call it a burgerless burger. Or you could even call it an air burger because there's not much on it. An air sandwich, an air burger. Yeah, I heard Zelo talking about KFC the other night. Or was it Red Rooster? Comparing the two. I don't mind Red Rooster. KFC is just, I don't know, it's a bit too rich. Too salty, too oily. I like the crispiness of the crispy chicken. But I heard the Red Rooster was pretty crunchy too. And I really don't like soggy chips. I really don't like soggy chips, and KFC, it just makes me cringe the amount of salt they pour on the chips. I can't stand it. I mean, yeah, after a big night out when I was a bit younger, I could take it, but I just feel the heart palpitations now at my age after KFC. I can't do it anymore. So if I do that, just a burger and no deal, no meal deal, just a burger. So today BMW was absolutely killing me in 2 games, but scoreline pretty sad, 0 out of 2. You just had to find checks to finish me off, and I was so dead playing dodgy openings. But probably that Rook H3 move is just killing after Queen H4. I'll have to look it up if Black has any dirty resources with Knight F3 check, because the idea of Knight F3 check is blocking off the F file so you don't take on F2 with check, but probably I'm just giving you too many pieces in that case. The NM played the same Knight D4 against me. Yeah, I know they're garbage lines. I don't expect someone rated 2000 Crazy House to know all this stuff. Bishop G4, because most people will put a pawn on F7 with check, and it's not that great. And yeah, I mean, even to find the precise moves after Queen H4, and then there's also Queen at H4 and Queen at F8 and Queen over to F8. There's so many different lines to pressure F2, and then they're all a little bit different to each other. And I can't remember the first game, but that was a bit of a disaster too. But I didn't know that BMW was 23, almost 2400 blitz. I might have, to be honest, I probably would have done the same thing against someone 2000 Crazy House. He's an opening specialist. I had no idea. Alright, but there's other rubbish lines I could try next time. Okay, I will pause and get a burger and a coffee, and yeah, be back later. Have a good Sunday Aussies and Saturday night everybody else, and see you soon.